Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wild Moments, brought to you live and exclusive. We are live, so please feel free to send in all of your comments and questions. And today, before we see who is joining us online, I'd love to offer a warm welcome to the delightful Liam. Welcome,
Hello,
Liam.
hello. And
Good to
thanks for
see you.
having me. What a pleasure.
Absolute joy and a pleasure. It's great to have you here. How have you been? Are you well?
Very, very, very well, thanks. Please excuse a bit of background noise. I've got a huge sort of tropical storm over my house at the moment. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good show. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very, very hot. I did want to try and give everyone a view of the beautiful mountains behind me, but realised that by the end of the show, I think the sun's probably going to hit me, and that is not a good idea. I'm touching my computer, and I'm surprised it hasn't melted. It's toasty up here in Hoedspruit today. Super, super warm.
Absolutely cooking.
Okay, so who else have we got joining us? Oh, good morning from snowy Toronto. Welcome, WB Chard. Um, I could do with some snow at the moment. That sounds absolutely delightful. We've got Zygote. Hi, Liam and Kelly. Namaste. Hi, Zygote. Mr. HUOE 87 today. We have cake and coffee. Good afternoon once again. Aussie Jan 2. Coffee break. We've got Casper's third ghost. Hello, Liam and Kelly. Ready for some warm sights? Ooh, warm indeed. Super hot coffee. Oh, Reggie from Milwaukee. I thought you were just saying super hot. That's how I read it. Jean Gale, good morning. Waking up in Seattle. It's dark and chilly outside, and I'm having hot coffee and Africam. Excellent choice. Karu, hi Kelly and Liam. Hello, Karu. Liam, what beverage do you have with you?
I have an ice cold Dr. Pepper with me today. What are you
That's
sipping on?
I'm sipping on some slightly tepid water from a plastic cup. I've been desperately
Oh,
trying
no.
to keep it cool, but have failed absolutely miserably. So welcome, everyone is here, everyone is present. Please send in any comments or questions you may have about any of the clips we've got this afternoon. We've got some fabulous clips for you. And without further ado, I think let's jump straight into the first one, shall we, and have a little look.
Let's do it.
We've got some spots. Liam, you'll realise about this show, you look at the screen really close up and you peer closer and closer, and then the clip stops and they come back to you and you've got your nose on the screen, so just beware of that. Oh,
Oh,
this could
wow.
this could go this could get interesting. You can almost see that leopard pondering its life choices, can't you?
Yeah, I wonder if it's quite a young leopard.
Still not sure. Ooh.
Hmm.
Oh, there. Oh, Porcupine knows there's something going on. I think this was actually last night up in Tembe. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's close.
That porcupine's unconcerned. No. Oh, no, absolutely not. Oh, look, tables have turned now. No, absolutely not. Still giving it some thought. Yeah, that's. I think you might be right. That might be a young leopard there.
I think so. A more mature individual wouldn't have shown that much curiosity towards a
No,
porcupine, I wouldn't have thought.
or even if they did, they would have decided better of it. They would have had a think, decided better, and carried on
Yeah,
their merry way. I suppose they are fun to watch, though. I enjoy watching
yeah,
porcupines, but
definitely.
what a fascinating interaction.
That is really unusual. Goodness me. And a very bold porcupine.
Very bold. I'm always surprised how big porcupines are. I haven't actually seen that many porcupines, sort of really nice sightings. And when they look, the tables have completely turned. And when
That's
they do,
unreal.
when they do porcupines fluff up, spine up, what do they do? They're big. They're always much bigger than I remember them being.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen a leopard porcupine interaction before, but I think you have, haven't you?
In person, no. No, certainly
Oh, haven't
no, lots of footage,
you?
but no, no, never in person, unfortunately.
Oh,
But what an
oh, that must
amazing,
no.
amazing interaction.
That's Karu says, wow, that is indeed a brilliant interaction, Karu. Mindy Tillapau, I'm guessing the porcupine is more experienced with leopards than vice versa. Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Have you ever seen leopard hunt porcupine?
No, not personally. Hey, I think, yeah, well, obviously seeing them sniffing around things like warthog burrows, I guess possibly leopards investigating signs of porcupine, but never an interaction like that. I think
There's got
there
to be
is,
easier
after all,
things to eat.
there's got to be so much out there that's easier to eat. That's one of the worst things they could try and play with.
Yeah, I think so. JJ says if the leopard did catch it, what would it do? Um, it would be as careful as possible. But
Yeah.
we've all seen images of lions, leopards with those quills sticking out of their faces. I
Mm,
actually learned a couple of years ago that it's American porcupines that have barbed quills. I always used to say
mm,
that all porcupines have barbed quills, but someone corrected me a few years ago. And they haven't got barbed quills, but they do stick in. But leopards can
mm.
sort of gently sort of pull them out, but there's a massive risk of infection. So JJ,
Yeah.
if it did catch it, it would be very careful. I would imagine it would probably try and flip it onto its back, try and get to that sort of less protected throat area, and then leopards do hunt porcupines, but yeah, there's got to be easier things to eat out there. W. Bouchard said that porcupine is pretty large. They always surprise me how big they are. I've sort of until I see them again, I've sort of have visions of them being this, but they're big. They're big animals, especially with those spines up like that. Have you had much chance to watch porcupines a lot, Liam? I haven't. I haven't been very lucky with them.
Yeah, quite a bit, hey. And even when I was a kid growing up in Zimbabwe, we went through a very, very bad drought. And we actually used to have a very, very large porcupine that would come into the house and raid onions and potatoes from sort of the pantry. Like in
Wow.
the evening, we're all just sitting in the lounge and he would just come in and take an onion, eat it on the carpet, and then leave. Yeah, they're amazing.
That's so cool. That's so cool. No, I love watching porcupines, but you don't often get a chance. Casper's third ghost leaves you wondering who's the predator. Absolutely, yeah. That leopard was having none of it, and wisely so. And you said you saw a leopard eating a porcupine with very long teeth near Skakusa. Yeah, they will hunt porcupines. I know a couple of people that have seen porcupine kills. But yeah, I've never seen one. But yeah, I think there's definitely got to be better things to eat out there than trying it with a porcupine. Brilliant clip, and it's so nice. We always say every time that we get to see these such cool night action clips on these night cameras without any disturbance or any interaction. Andy, I like the way the porcupine rattles to ward off the leopard. It was a rattle and reverse that porcupine was doing there.
And an active pursuit as well, which was quite
Yeah,
bizarre.
be gone, be gone. out of on your way. Go on your way, Mr. Leopard. No, that was brilliant. Such a cool interaction. Okay, I think we're moving over to slightly bigger mammals this time. If we have a look at the next clip, we'll see what we've got. Oh, shame. This is Hyena Pan up in Botswana there. This little Ellie's missing his trunk, his or her trunk. He's drinking though. He's drinking easily. That's such a shame. But how old do you think this elephant is, Liam? This little one without the trunk?
It's a proper littly. I don't know, maybe a little toddler, a little somewhere between 2 and about 4 years of age. Yeah, proper small one.
But it's lasted this long without a trunk.
It has.
So,
and elephants are such adaptable mammals anyway. I think that comes with the intelligence. So as sad as it is, and as sort of harsh as it is to see something like that, this animal has got every chance of surviving, adapting and surviving.
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Especially if they stay with their family group, we know that other family members will support their group members. So as animals get older, they will, if animals break a tusk, they'll get some support from their family groups. Oh look.
Shame. That isn't nice though. I guess the elephant equivalent of losing both of your hands. So its life is certainly going to be challenging.
But as you say, made it this far. Drinking easily there.
Without a doubt. Kelly Tim asks, is that a birth defect or a crocodile? What do you reckon?
It's difficult to know. I've never known. I mean, it's possible. I don't think I've ever confirmed an elephant with a missing trunk that was bitten off by a crocodile.
No.
Have you?
No, and my thoughts. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never had it confirmed. It would be very difficult to know. Birth defect, possibly. But I would say, honestly and sadly, the more often than not I've seen, it's due to a snare. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, I think the two most likely causes there would be something like a wire snare, as Kelly says, the scourge of African conservation areas. It's a really, really horrible thing. Either that or a hyena. Hyenas are notorious when it comes to sort of skulking around herds of things like ellies, especially with youngsters, and they'll happily snip off the tail or the tip of a trunk of a little one that's sort of not that close to mum. So yeah, but as you say, impossible to say. We weren't there.
Yeah, but I've never actually heard or even thought of that hyena. Come to think of it, but yeah, I would say that would be more likely than a crocodile. But no, we'll probably never know, Tim. So your guess is as good as ours. Bob from Kalamazoo. Good day, Kelly and Liam from a very cold, snowy Kalamazoo. Ooh, I could do with some of your snow right now, Bob. Karu says yes, he was very cute. He is super cute, but we keep saying he's made it to the age he's got to now, so hopefully he'll be fine. Mindy Tillipar at the end does look somewhat normal, so it could have been a birth defect. It could, Mindy. I'm not sure who's been watching these cameras for a long time. Maybe someone would know the herd movements. Has this little one been seen around often? But yeah, it could be a birth defect. JJ, does Botswana have bad snaring issues like South Africa? I think it's everywhere. Anywhere there's animals, there can be snares, and it's not just Africa. I don't think I would say it's worldwide. Snares, it's just a piece of metal that anyone can access. What's your thoughts on it, Liam?
Yeah, definitely. It seems to be a pretty widespread issue throughout. But yeah, what a horrible passive way of taking the life of our wildlife. Yeah, it's got to be one of the cruelest ways to try and hunt an animal. Um,
No.
Thankfully, though, in I guess most of the reserves that Kelly and myself have had the pleasure of working in, and we've worked together in a couple of places too. Um, I guess measures are put in place. They do patrols through the bush, and the rangers do to try and sniff those snares out. Very, very tricky though. But
Mm.
yeah, you've kind of got to stay on top of it.
W. Bouchard, you watched this live yesterday, that poor baby. It's easier for it to drink now and probably eat, but what happens when it gets older? Um, I, we don't know. I suppose, I mean, we see elephants doing this with their trunks, but could if there's foliage or grass, maybe it could grab with its mouth. Um, who knows? I'm not sure how that will happen. April owl nostrils would be missing if it was bitten off. How's your detailed elephant nose anatomy, Liam? I
Yeah,
thought they were.
yeah, no, I think it's probably about the same as yours. The nostrils sort of run throughout the entire trunk, like two parallel tubes.
Mm,
So yeah, the nostrils are in the trunk itself. The trunk is the
it's
elephant's
all part
nose.
of the. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
part of the same structure there. Talking of elephants, let's move across to our next clip to have a look at this beautiful and well-known lady. This is Ranzikile. This is a well-known cow that has been around for quite a long time, actually. And Liam and I were chatting earlier, and we think we have both actually met her. I can't imagine there's too many elephant cows with this. I don't want to call it a deformity, with this difference. And we think we did both bump into her many years ago.
I've definitely seen her in the southern Sabi Sands at least twice, once in the southern Kruger and once in the western sector of the Sabi Sands as well. So she's well established in that kind of area.
She is. This is actually Simbavati waterside. So she is making she's covered some distance, and as far as we know, she is fine and healthy. I think many people have looked at this. Oh, you can actually see there. You can see that split almost where the two nostrils would run up either side, I guess, through that hole there.
It's
And
like the
she's always seems
septum.
to, yeah. And she seems to have always, I think she's had calves before, as far as I'm aware. And vets that have looked at her think this is congenital. So from birth, it's not believed to be a inflicted injury. And yeah, as far as everyone knows, she copes with that just fine. Look at that! Look at that little one. Don't wear the water. Where's your manners? But yeah, I think I also saw her a couple of times in the southern sands there, and she never seemed. I've always been told, and actually, Liam, I think it was you that said this. If an elephant's got damaged tusks, a bull, or sometimes I've seen myself if there's any injured animal, if they've had a wound or if they've been particularly damaged, they can be a little bit more nervous, or as you've said, the bulls with the damaged tusks, it can be an indication they can be a bit more feisty. But I never saw this girl reacting to vehicles, never seemed to cause her any problems.
No, no, not at all. Certainly, in all of the sightings I've been fortunate enough to have with her, she's been super calm, and I guess that that only goes to kind of confirm what the vets say, that it's congenital, that she was born that way. Certainly, it's well
Mm.
healed. It's a horrifying thing to see because it's literally a punch hole right into her sinus, so you can basically see into her skull. But yeah, it's all well healed. If it was sort of raw at a stage, amazing how resilient animals can be.
It is, and you can actually hear her when she's
Mm,
breathing, can't you? I remember you can hear. You can sort of hear that sound because it's a different breathing sound. JJ says, what if something gets in that hole? Um, like like you would if you get a fly up your nose or something, maybe she would
yeah, I
sort of.
wonder if she has the ability to sort of like put pressure against it and even blow air out of it. Possibly.
Maybe. I never saw her do that, but it's definitely
Mm,
an airway because you can hear her breathing through it. So if it echoes through it, then maybe she'd be able to scoot out something if it got in there. Kathy AS, amazing
yeah.
how resilient the animal world can be. I agree, Kathy. Mindy Tillipal. So are the nostrils split and separate all the way up? As far as I know, yes. I'm just trying to
Agreed.
think of. I'm trying to think of where the they'd have to stop at some point. I'm gonna. I don't currently have a detailed image of an elephant's skull and sinus system in my head, but I believe they are split all the way up.
Yeah, no, I think they are. I think that that septum goes pretty much all the way back to the top of the sinus. It's super well developed in Ellies, and possibly
Mm,
even some sort of kind of sound amplification apparatus going on there as well. So yeah, all the more
maybe.
reason for sort of a big cavernous sinus.
Karu, wow, that looks awful. Glad she's doing so well with it. Yeah, Karu, she has. And I mean, I would have seen her in 2018-ish,
Mm.
2018, 17, somewhere around
She's
there.
been around.
Um,
Mm.
she's been around for a long time. Tim, would that
Yeah.
affect her smell? I would have thought so. It's all sinus related. The
Mm.
particles maybe don't get to the receptors they'd normally get to. If they were funneled, they might sort of come out that hole a bit. So I would imagine that it probably would have some sort of impact on her smell tip. What do you think?
Yeah, no, agreed. But again, with us thinking it's probably a congenital thing, a bit like a person born with a birth defect, she has never known life any other way. So as far
Mm,
as she's concerned, it's probably not much of a disadvantage. That's just the hand she was dealt. She's still sort of big and strong and established, so not too much wrong there. And again, the vets have had a look at her. I think she was actually tranquilized by Joel Alves at a stage, one of the
mm,
sort of local Lowveld wildlife vets. So they've had a thorough look at her. She's not suffering. Again, it just ties into that resilience of the wildlife. They're amazing.
mm. No, for sure, for sure. But a lovely girl, and it's lovely to see she's still around. It's great seeing these characters doing so well. Okay, I think we've got time for one more clip, just about. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this last clip, I think. Oh, that's a very fat hyena. I see Gigi's also asked, do you think the other elephants know she's different? They probably accept her for who she is, Gigi, especially if she's grown up with everyone else. That's a very fat hyena. Oh no!
She's caught something in there.
Oh no! See, I'm supposed to be professional and not say oh no and just go, oh, what a. whatever. But I can't help but say, oh no, was that?
A
I
little
want to see
impala
that look
lamb by the looks of it.
when they do that. I'm trying to peer into the screen. Yes, it does. It looks like a little baby impala. A little baby impala that hyena got there. It is, of course, the time of plenty for our predators in the bush there. Have you? Well, I'm not sure where you've been, Liam. Have you seen a baby impala yet this year?
No, I actually haven't been back to the bush since the baby boom arrived, since the arrival of the rains. But definitely time to get back out there. Everything's looking so lush and green. Yeah, always a shame to see those little impala getting mashed by pretty much everything out there that does feed
It
on meat. Um, but yeah,
is.
I guess all the more success to that very, very robust looking hyena.
I see JJ's just pregnant or fat hyena. Um, I'm not sure. I always struggle to call it. I think it's, if you see a rotund something with, especially those hyenas, um, with suckle marks, or you can see milk in their mammary glands, and then there's a surefire pregnant. But I struggle to guess. I struggle to know. What would you be able to tell if she was pregnant or fat, Liam?
Yeah, no, I think you mentioned a couple of good points there, especially the very swollen mammary glands and the nipples. That's probably your best
Mm.
giveaway. But again, she's been wandering around in those grasslands doing exactly what she was captured in that clip doing, cashing in on those little impalas. So there's every possibility she's just extremely well fed.
Yeah, I find it, unless you can see suckle marks, or especially predators. Some of those
Mm.
bellies after they've had a good meal is absolutely crazy. Um, uh, W. Bouchard, I saw this yesterday and it was sad, but it's a circle of life. And Tim asked, is that considered a hunt or scavenge? That's a hunt. It was a
Yeah.
very easy hunt. Um, feel terrible, but that's, to me, a hunt is. How would you define what a hunt is, Liam?
Well, scavenging would be off of carrion, something that's already dead. Whether that is just sort of left out on its own out in the bush, or it's something like a hyena or a lion taking it off of another predator. But I would say a kill would be the action of removing life from something that is alive. So that was definitely a kill, Tim.
Yeah, I would say as well. A hunt, a kill is anything taking life from another life.
Mm.
People always expect, they come to the bridge and say, "Oh, we want to see a kill." Dragonflies kill things. One of the most effective predators there are.
Birds.
Birds, everything. So for me, I would definitely say it was a very easy hunt, Tim,
Mm.
but definitely a hunt nonetheless, I think. Bolo, have you ever seen an impala birth? No, I haven't. Um, I spend lots of time around this time of year when I can. If an impala is sort of standing a bit funny, or I've spent lots of time, if I see a female impala on her own around this time of year, I often sort of go, where's the others? Because impalas will often take themselves sort of away from the group a little bit. And I've spent often I'll go, oh, I think, oh no, she's going to the toilet. In front of guests, many times I've got excited about, there's like a pregnant impala. She stands on her own, and we watch, and like after sort of 20 minutes, everyone's sort of going, probably not going to give birth. I'm like, oh, damn it, I've got to leave. So I've tried, but no, I have not seen an impala birth. Have you, Liam?
I've been lucky. Yeah, I've seen a couple of impala, wildebeest, and a giraffe. Yeah,
And a giraffe,
but
wow.
it's hard, and you've got to be with sort of the right set of guests as well that are
Mm,
patient and willing to sit very quietly. You obviously really don't want to disturb and cause that female any problems. So yeah, it's tricky. And as Kelly says,
it
lots
is.
of false alarms watching animals have a wee.
Yeah, many times. I have seen the closest I've got. I have seen a baby impala that still had it was the amniotic sac was still next to it. It wasn't quite out of it. And very much saw mum licking and saw that baby's first steps. But no, I've never been lucky enough to see a birth of anything actually. So fingers crossed it's the right time of year now. JJ, why was that impala lamb alone? Don't they normally stick in a nursery group? JJ, they do normally stick in a nursery group. That could have been a nursery group under those trees. There could have been more than one impala under there. You're completely right. But yes, they do normally stick in little groups. Maybe it was the first of that herd that had been born, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was a couple under those trees. What do you think, Liam?
Yeah, no, Kelly has hit the nail on the head there for sure. It's also something interesting to keep in mind is that most of our antelope species practice what we call a lying up period. So most of the little impala lambs that you do see in those kind of gigantic creches, which are so iconic of a summer in the greater Kruger, a wet season out here, when that baby first arrives, even though it is able to move, it's unlikely that it'll go straight into the creche. So that you may keep it to one side in a bush for a day or two, just get it a little bit stronger, a little bit more mobile before she brings it back into the herd. And we see that with lots of things. Lots of other antelope do that lying up thing.
Many. But yeah, showing that little impala will not be in a creche. But we have to remember that it's a circle of life, and there's going to be lots of other little babies that are going to be bouncing around. I've already seen a few, and there's going to be many more to come. Well, our time is up, I think. Thank you so much for joining us, Liam. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
And thank you for having me. It's been epic. My first Africam session. Hopefully not the last.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Hopefully we will see you again soon, and keep watching those cameras in the meantime.